Hello, I am starting a little bit early today because I have some stuff that I need to get done, or at least want to get done, hopefully. So we're going to be finishing up our little Raton Perez, or Ratoncito Perez, which is kind of like the Spanish-speaking version of the Tooth Fairy. We read last time the entire story, which is very sweet. I recommend reading it on Gutenberg. I provided the link on the last video for that. I think I did. I'll have to go double check. I couldn't actually find a whole lot of clear descriptions of other Tooth Fairy stories because it's a lot of vague and changeable stuff. Like there's different legends. I mentioned the Asian, some of the Asian legends that dealt with, taking teeth out and throwing them in the air or in the ground. I also found some references to, I apologize if I sound congested. I found some references to traditions about burying teeth and the first, so many teeth that children have. There's an old article from, I think it was the Chicago Tribune that's mentioned like on Wikipedia. You can read the original article, but they posted the entire thing there. That just mentions using the Tooth Fairy as a way to make a kid more accepting of losing teeth or more excited about it. But I couldn't find a whole lot of like, this is definitely where this came from. It seems to be a lot of mix of different things, which is kind of why I chose Perez, because his legend was very clear and I got a whole story to read, whereas most of the other tooth legends are kind of all over the place. I was hoping to have more to talk about, but I did not find as much as I would like on the subject. Now I did go ahead, I did a base painting, and I went ahead and spray painted these little glasses we made. I spray painted them gold. I took them off for now just so that they don't get covered in paint, but we will return them to their proper location. It's a little difficult to do that sometimes. But at any rate, I do wanna... I accidentally got paint on the back of my tooth. So, but we're gonna go ahead and... Oh, and I forgot to mention, I did mention in the description, he actually broke in the oven. I thought he was standing pretty well, and then he toppled forward, his feet bent forward, part of his hat broke off, you can kind of see. I repaired that section. The feet, however, I had a bit of a nightmare with. I had to add resin underneath so that he could stand up and not topple forward. I will do my best to make them look okay. It's always a bit disheartening when stuff breaks in the oven, but it's not the end of the world. I managed to make it look okay. So we're gonna go ahead and do some skin-ish, like light skin tones here. And because I know we'll have to layer this a bit. Now, the description in the book by Louis Colombo, I'm not sure if it's Louis Colombo or Louis Colombo, mentions that this little mouse has a red satchel, which I decided not to sculpt the other day, and that he has a straw hat. There isn't any mention of his fur color. The other mouse, when the little prince turned into a mouse, he had green eyes, so I did give this one green eyes, but that wasn't actually in the story. So all we really have to go on is that he did have slippers too, which I missed that part. I should have probably given him shoes, which in retrospect would have been easier to fix when it broke. But for now, he will not have shoes, because I can't really fix it now. But, that's really all we have. He had gold spectacles. He had a red satchel. And then he had a straw hat. So we'll be doing all of that except the slippers because I was dumb when I made this and I somehow missed that part. Or chose not to do it, I don't recall. Yeah, so the feet are going to look a little crappy. I may try to make a full base for this guy later, just to kind of salvage that a little bit. One of the unfortunate things that happens with art is that things break sometimes in the baking process, and it really sucks. because you put so much effort into something and then it falls forward and bends and then you try to save it. Which I did okay, but it's still not quite right. And if you happen to see this part of the video, go check out the poll that I posted. I did post a shorts video version of it. I only think I got one response about what my next animal sculpture will be. So far, Instagram, only one person said anything, and they requested the Baker Badger. The comment on the YouTube, I believe, said the detective. I know they commented twice. I think they said detective or the bat that I designed. I have little sketch designs that I did as kind of concept art for the next sculptures. So go ahead and vote on the poll or comment on the video. The poll did get a couple. I think I got 4 responses, and 3 of those were Baker Badger. So it's looking like the Badger is winning, although I might keep the Deer Detective in my back pocket for like another sculpture in the future. But whatever wins that particular poll, and if I get any more comments like on, you know, another platform, I will take them on into consideration. But so far, looks like the Badger is winning. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do some light color here. Like I said, we don't have any real notion of what color fur this little mouse was supposed to have. I know the artwork I used for the thumbnail, he is white. I've seen other ones where he is gray, brown, almost black, like all different fur colors. So I'm just going with a nice little brown. Most of the mice I've seen are kind of a brownish color. So, and I've seen a lot of mice. I recently had to catch one in my house. I have 5 cats and I had a mouse in my home. And they always want to live in my kitchen cabinets, and then I have to like bleach and clean all the cabinets. I don't know if there's more than one. I've only caught one. So hopefully not more. And I use the live traps and then I go release them like in a cemetery or a forest or the woods or something, far enough away from my house and other people's houses so that they're not going to cause more mischief. They are so cute though. They're so tiny. This guy's like the size of a big rat. Rats are adorable too. I always wanted a pet rat. Well, I say always. I have wanted a pet rat for a very long time. I haven't always wanted a pet rat. But they're so adorable. And they're actually surprisingly clean. The issue with wild rats and mice is that they can be prone to contracting or carrying diseases that are harmful to people. They don't necessarily do that, but that's why they're like a major health food concern and stuff. And most people know about the plague, although the plague was actually caused by fleas and may or may not have been on the mice and rats. I've seen some different theories on that. But because they can potentially contract some pretty bad things and carry them around, they're not great to have in food sources unless it's like, you know, your own pet that you know is fine. But yeah, they're so adorable. I love little mice and rats. I probably should not have done a brown base coat for the coat here. But, okay, yeah, that lighting's better. But I kind of just wanted to do a quick base color all the way around. Yeah, I was disappointed I couldn't find more legends about teeth. And there are decent amounts, but they're all like a little different, and there's not a whole lot of longer ones that I can go over, at least that I saw. I didn't have as much time to research as I would have liked, because I probably could have found more if I'd had more time. But I have house projects that I need to work on, so. And I was busy catching mice and dealing with kitchen stuff. But yeah, I did see, there I mean, there is kind of a tradition in most places with a kid's first teeth that they lose. Whether it's like, oh, it can bring bad luck, whether it's a good luck charm. There's a lot of variance in that regard. Yeah. And what you should do with that tooth and how, how it affects things in the future. Does it give them, good luck by doing things? Can they potentially be harmed if somebody comes across it? Like, oh no, the evil fairies kind of thing. There's different ones, but I couldn't find like a bunch of cohesive development of a particular legend. So I was kind of disappointed. I need to find some good like authoritative sources on mythology for these types of videos. I am also going to be starting some new projects, not live because they'll be somewhat difficult to do live, but I'll do shorter videos of them. I will be starting some new projects with glass bottles. Hopefully, if I can figure out how to cut the glass bottles effectively, I will be doing scenes and characters inside of bottles. Those will probably be different videos. I will continue posting the little like painting videos that I do occasionally. I'll be honest, those are like quick videos that I'm trying to help the algorithm and kind of get myself some more views here because I'm not doing so hot with that. Posting a lot helps, so I may try to break videos down a bit more. I kind of hate to do that. I'm the type of person, like, I want the whole video in one video. So I will always do a singular, full time-lapse shortened video for those who prefer that. But then I might do multiple, I might have to start breaking some of my things into multiple shorts, because that gives me more content to post without putting a ton of extra work, although I still have to do all the editing. But it doesn't put like a ton of extra work on me, so it makes it a little bit more feasible than trying to do, 3 or 4 sculptures every single week. I don't have the time or money to be able to do that. But I'm going to create kind of a backlog of videos and see if I can post them slowly over time. I'm also going to be starting a series with unfinished fairy tales. We'll see how it goes. I didn't get much interaction on my last videos, so I'm concerned it may not work. But the basic idea is I'm going to start a scene with a single character, and then I will ask for additional details. And then every additional detail, I will continue the story based on what people choose. My first one is going to be, I think, a little underground type scene with a little mole. And he's going to have an empty cart, and he's going to be the merchant mole. And my first question will be, what are his wares? What does he sell? He's come to make an important trade. What does he sell? And then as soon as people vote on that, I'll choose something from that, and then I'll add whatever commenters decide to the within reason. And then it'll be like, oh, well, who is he meeting? Why is he down here? That kind of thing. So we can gradually develop a little event or a snippet, like a scene. That's what I'm thinking about doing. I'm just concerned there won't be enough interest. So I'll try it at least once and we'll see how it goes. It is thankfully slow season at work, so I should have a little more time to come up with ideas. Oh, and I don't know why I just decided his coat was blue. It just seems correct, so we're going with it. Alright. Very carefully try not to get more paint on my tooth. I think the collar's probably just gonna have to be either a different shade of blue or maybe like, I could probably try to make it like a teal. I'm also progressing toward owning a kiln. Unfortunately, it will need a great deal of work, so I won't be able to do videos for a while, but I have to still set up my basement art studio, which I ran out of money to do again. But whenever I get enough money and time, I will finish that up and I will put the kiln in the basement. And hopefully I will start doing ceramics, which I do intend to sell. I know I don't really sell these figurines. If I can, and if the bottle figurines do well, I'll sell those because they should be fairly protected and easy to ship, as long as I package them well. These are so fragile, I get concerned. I have shipped some figurine sculptures before, but the post office is none too nice to, to figurines and sculptures. They do tend to... They tend to break stuff, so I am very reticent to send something like that through the mail. I would be scared that I'd spend so many hours on something and then the customer would be disappointed and I would be upset and it just would be bad. I've had stuff get broken before or damaged before and everyone's always so nice, but it just, I always feel so bad. Especially since, like, I mean, if it's my mistake, I can fix it, you know, I can offer some sort of restitution or something and fix the problem or tell them how to fix it, you know. But with stuff like that, it's like there's nothing I can do other than just eat the cost myself, which sucks, but... So yeah, I'm very scared of sending figurines. Plus, there's not as much interest in buying these. People usually like seeing them. They like seeing me make them, but they rarely want to purchase figurines like these. So I'm hopeful that if I can move into ceramics, I can use some of my designs for functional pieces like mugs and salt and pepper shakers and, you know, utensils and kitchen type supplies, dice cups, things like that. Because I find functional items tend to be more appealing for whatever reason. Art pieces are nice, but there's only a certain class of people that are going to buy art pieces. And by class, I don't mean like financial, I mean like certain type of person. I will attempt to restock the Etsy shop too with dice, but it is the slow season for sales, so I'm if I put too much on the shop, I will not. I'll just have to pay for the listings to stay up and I won't make any money. But I will try to put up a few more things because I know I did sell some in December, which was awesome. I always sell a lot during December and then there's nothing until like April. But I will try to restock. I might make a whole bunch, like make a whole bunch of stock ready and then post them slowly over time to help with content and prevent me from getting like overwhelmed with upkeeping listings that nobody's buying. That was the other reason I pulled the sculptures I was trying to sell off the shop ages ago, because I have to pay to keep those up, and it's not a ton, but it does add up after a while. And if nobody's interested in buying it and it's been on there for like a year, it gets very disheartening and you're like, I really don't want to keep spending money just to keep this on the shop because clearly no one wants it. So it's a bit annoying, but... And I don't want to pull my shop off Etsy because I feel like Etsy gives people confidence enough that they're willing to purchase from me. Whereas if I had my own website, people aren't going to find it as much, and they're probably going to be more reluctant to purchase from it because it seems less, less legitimate. At least it seems that way to me. Unless somebody's well established, they usually can't just sell off of their own website. All right, put this away, and I'm gonna start putting some white, I think, around his mouth. Okay. A little bit of white on his arms. Alright, let's go ahead and start putting some color on the hat. It's supposed to be a straw-colored hat, so we're gonna do this color first, and then we'll go over it with a lighter yellow. Hopefully the more colors I add, that repair job I had to do will be less evident. Because it's still pretty visible, in my perspective at least. It doesn't look bad, but you can kind of tell that it was broken and then fixed. I tried to re-add some of the texture back on, but... Okay. He definitely looks better with his glasses on. Makes him look more unique. Oh. Alright. This is the hard part. Granted, most people aren't going to see this, but I still feel like I should attempt to make it look right. Because you're not really going to have the sculpture upside down at any point, but, you know. Should still attempt to make it look decent. Okay. Now let's do this part of the hat. And I think we'll do the band a blue color to match the rest of the vest. I think that'll look good. Alright, so we have the basics of his hat done. I apologize for pulling it out of frame. I have to fix something and I need to see it up close to do it properly. There we go. Okay, here we go. Let that dry for a little bit, and we're going to take the blue. We're going to go ahead and do band. There we go. We're making progress. Making progress. Slowly but surely. All right. Now I think we're going to take, this color might be a little bright, but we're going to very lightly dry brush the highlights and make the hat a little brighter. Oh, I forgot. There's another thing I'm going to be doing for short videos. That is going to be, I want to remake some of my teenage and childhood sculptures and artwork that I used to make. Because I have done artwork for a while. I couldn't find, I don't know if I still have anywhere, pictures of my old artwork when I was like, you know, itty bitty, like 9, 8, 7, 6 or something like that. Because I did used to play with Play-Doh all the time. I do have a vivid memory of a particular sculpture, but I don't know if I can find a picture of it. But I do have pictures of my artwork as a teenager. And young teenager, like 13, 14. So I will probably be doing videos of remaking those in kind of to compare how I've improved over time. Because I have improved greatly on a lot of things. So I think that'll be fun, and then I can do a side-by-side comparison. But I had a thing for a little bit as a teenager where I kept making little, like, palm-sized fairy people. And I have a couple pictures of one or two that I really loved. So I'd love to make those again with, you know, a better technique and style than I had back then. All right. See, our little hat is looking better. I should probably start the tan on his pants now. Okay. I'm not sure. I think the buttons, maybe we should make gold to kind of tie in with the spectacles that we're going to be putting on him here in a second. And we do obviously need to do more highlights on the fur to make it look good. There we go. One of the horrifying things about painting is you begin to realize how many mistakes you made when you sculpted it, because all the little texture problems become apparent as you paint. I did make a decent amount with this one, especially on the pants. Like, it doesn't look bad in the long run, but if you look up close, you can kind of tell that this is not my best work, and I feel bad. Should have taken more time with it. But, will anyone care but me? Probably not. Mm. Alright, now the question is, what are we doing with the pants cuffs? What color should they be? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm gonna add some little highlights here on the mouse face. Mm-hmm. We still have to do the tail, obviously, and add the extra highlights and stuff here. Alright. Now I should take a little paintbrush here and do some very simple highlights on the hat band. Do a lighter blue in the middle. There we go. We're getting there. He's looking cute. Alright. Oh, yeah. No. Let me touch up the smaller brush. Now let us add brown on the back of the ears here. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to paint the tail. And then we'll have to get back to the collar of the coat because it still doesn't look right to me. Yeah, he originally was not standing on his tail, but he is now, due to unfortunate circumstances. All right. Oh. Let me use this other shade of blue and see if we can add some interesting highlights to the collar with this. All right. Let's see here. Up, 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 up. Don't break. Had enough of this piece breaking. Dry brush this real quick like this. Oh, and I still haven't done the pants cuffs. I gotta do that. Dry brush it with some white. And then I think we might go back over it with the tan again. Sometimes that adds, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like it adds a depth of color to it. I did not mean to get the white on the foot. Alright, so I think I'll use this color for the cuffs. Pant cuffs. Alright. I always forget that I have this color. Cuffs are a little rough because of the whole breaking in the oven fiasco, but we'll manage. We'll manage. There we go. Add some shading here with this color. Okay. Okay. Now let us progress to doing the buttons. I'm thinking cute little gold buttons. That should be, mix the paint up a little. Okay. Cute little gold buttons. Problem with some of these gold paints is they're not nearly as bright as I would like them to be. Alright. He's got little gold buttons now. I'll take one of these pieces. Clean the eyes a bit. There we go. Alright. Go over the brown again. Just a little. Do darker brown, like in the creases of the arm. And where the fabric meets it. Yeah, the feet look rough, unfortunately, but not much I can do about that now. Just reminds me that I should be doing proper armatures more often so that this doesn't happen. Every time I'm like, it'd be fine. It never is. I don't learn my lesson. Alright. Let's add a little bit of brown here. Oh, I didn't get the underside of the ear. That is a major thing I almost missed. Okay. All right. We are almost done with him. Okay. Ooh. I think I want to touch up the tail a bit. Time like these, I realize I think it would probably be easier if I had, what is it called? An airbrush? I've never really used an airbrush. I've used like spray cans and stuff before. Never, that's the wrong one. Never really used an airbrush. It's a different technique, but it does kind of have some nice results at times. So sometimes I wonder, I'm like, maybe I should really get one of those and kind of learn how to use it. But, yeah, I just haven't, because then you have to get like different paints, or you have to mix your paints so that they're sprayable. And it's a very different technique. A little bit that I've done with spray paint has been a bit rough. So okay. And I want to touch up one little spot here real fast. Oh, I got some blue paint on my tooth. Right there. I might be able to fix this one with a toothpick, actually, because does paint stick to teeth really well? I feel like it shouldn't. Not too horribly. Because the tooth had some of its own discoloration. We really don't need to add any. Alright. I gotta touch up a dot of... Ow. Open. There we go. A dot of blue. Yeah. Go. Alright. And I'm gonna see if I can get the glasses on the way they're supposed to be on. I had them stuck pretty well somewhere. There we go. Oh, let me fix this. I bent it a little bit more. Come on. Stay on there. Stay. Stay. Okay. Here we are. Mr. Ratoncito Perez. You can see him. This light is in the wrong spot. There you go. We are finished with little Mr. Perez. If you liked this video, let me know in the comments, or like the video with the buttons. Let me know what you'd like to see me sculpt in the future. I do have the poll still currently up with what type of animal sculpture I'll be doing next week on Friday. It's usually between 7 and 8. I vary the times a bit because nobody's currently waiting for me, so it's usually okay to do that. But typically gonna be afternoon on Fridays. But if you have any suggestions, things you'd like to see me do, other ideas, let me know. I do take suggestions the best of my ability. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful night.